Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be looking at this Redmi Note 15 Pro and Pro Plus that were recently launched by Xiaomi. Here are the devices with me, and we'll have a quick overview about the same. And guys, first let us quickly come to talk about the differences between the Pro Plus and the Pro. And you could say the Pro Plus is the slightly elder brother of the Pro, and the big highlight of these smartphone is the rear camera. That's a 200 megapixel camera on them. So the rear camera is the highlight on both the phones. Luckily it's the same sensor on both. This is the actually the Pro Plus, and if you notice, the back is very different. I'll put the boxes on the side, but here again the back is sort of normal that you are having. The rear camera setup is the same. The main is a 200 megapixel with OIS, and 8 megapixel is ultra wide. The front-facing camera is slightly different. Both of them are having that punch hole, but here we have a 32 megapixel camera on the Pro Plus, whereas it's I believe it's a 20 megapixel on this regular one. I did test the Pro Plus a lot more, but again, in terms of camera and stuff, the performance is very similar between the two. And a big difference you'll notice is that screen size is almost the same between both of them, 6.8 inch. If you look at it, this is the Pro Plus. As you can see, both of them are having a 1.5K screen, but this is very slightly curved. It's not totally, just slight curve, so again it feels nice. But here on the regular Pro, it's a completely flat screen that you are getting. In terms of brightness and everything, both of them are the same, and the good thing is that both of them actually are supporting HDR and even Dolby Vision. In fact, I did check, this is the Pro Plus, I did check it with Netflix, and if I go to the app settings, as you can see, HDR playback, I've enabled it, and if I go to the playback specification, it says that HDR10 and even Dolby Vision is supported. So that's actually a nice thing. And apart from that, another thing that I like is that both of them are having the Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection on them. In fact, guys, this is the review in it, and at the time of making the video, I actually do not know the pricing of these smartphones, so I can't comment about the pricing. But when I know the pricing and all the other details, I'll add that in the description. Apart from that, the difference is that the regular Pro will come with this 45 watt Xiaomi charger, whereas the Pro Plus comes with a 100 watt charger, and you get the same USB Type-C cable on both, and even both of them also do get this back case within the box. In fact, I would say in terms of looks and feel, the Pro Plus feels very different. This feels like vegan leather kind of a finish, whereas this is the normal finish that you're getting. In fact, they say this is actually very tough. This is having a fiberglass finish, but again, to the touch, it feels like a soft touch vegan kind of a thing. So feels very different, I would say. So a unique touch they have given on this one. Good thing is that another thing I like this, both of them are having the IP68, 69 protection, so that way I would say that's actually good. But again, coming to the processor, there is a big difference between them. The regular Pro is having with the coming with the MediaTek 7400 Ultra chip, whereas the Pro Plus is having a Snapdragon 7S Gen 4 chip. In fact, in Antutu, this will just get slightly just above 1 million, and this will get you about 775K in terms of Antutu. So yes, the Pro Plus is having definitely a slightly, powerful processor, but I feel instead of this 7S Gen 4, they should have gone with the regular 7 Gen 4 on the Pro Plus, considering this is supposed to be the Plus model. Anyways, coming to another small thing that I've noticed a difference is that base variants, both of them get 8 gigabytes of RAM. This is LPDDR4X RAM, whereas the Pro Plus you can get in 12 gigabytes also. And storage, the base variant of the regular Pro comes with the 128 and 256, whereas the base variant on this Pro Plus starts at 256, but you can also opt for a 512 gigabytes of storage. In terms of storage, both of them having the UFS 2.2 type of storage, but again I feel the Pro Plus, as it's having even a 512 gigabyte variant, they should have gone with at least a UFS 3.1 storage. And guys, here are all the specs to give you an idea about the specs. And another small difference that I noticed is that the Pro Plus does have NFC and even eSIM support, whereas that eSIM support is not there on the regular Pro. So I'll just keep the Pro to the side because I tested this one a lot more. So let's have a look at this one. Again, in terms of what do you say, screen size, both of them are again very good. I didn't have any problem, and both of them actually do support that 120 hertz refresh rate. But for some reason, by default, on both of them, it was set to actually 60 hertz. So I would suggest, if you are buying this phone, let me just go reduce the brightness a little bit so that you can look at, yeah. And if you go to this what do you say, display and brightness, I would urge you to change the refresh rate to this 120 hertz, and definitely it feels a lot more smoother if you do that. And after putting it to 120 hertz, again the UI was very smooth. Now coming to some of the apps that were pre-installed on this one, for example, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, this of course it's a Mi phone pay were pre-installed. Apart from that, in this more app, these were the apps that are pre-installed on this one. And of course also there is this pane called games, so these were also pre-installed. So this is the pre-installed app. Of course, as it's a Xiaomi phone, you do get all this. Good thing is that we do also get the Mi remote on this one because it has that IR blaster. One thing I noticed is that the good thing is that it does support Dolby Vision, as I've told you, that is HDR is completely supported, and even in Netflix, which some of the even expensive phones actually skip, they say HDR, but on Netflix they don't do it. So another thing I noticed is that the speakers on this one is actually very loud. Of course, it supports Dolby Atmos, but in terms of loudness, the speakers were very loud. For example, let me just find the copyright-free music, and if you notice, the separation is very good, and this gets actually very loud. You hardly have to go above the 70%, but it can go actually very loud. If you can go up to 400% with that volume boost. I'll just lower it. It's pretty loud. Let me just skip. So that music separation that you say is done very well. And of course, the speakers are actually one of the loudest that I've seen in this segment. So I would say for multimedia consumption, this is actually a good device because the screen quality is decent, does support HDR, and even the Netflix does support even Dolby Vision, and the sound output is also good. Coming to the in-hand feel, the in-hand feel also on this Pro Plus is actually pretty good. I would say we do have that in-display fingerprint scanner. It's slightly on the lower side, but in terms of accuracy, I don't have a problem. That's the same case even with this regular Pro. As you can see, no issues regarding the fingerprint scanner that we are getting. Another thing I noticed is that some of you will ask, though both the phones are having Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which I appreciate because in this price point, many vendors actually skip and go with older Gorilla Glass. But they have also pre-applied, the screen guard on both the phones. So that is something that I have noticed. Now coming to the battery, there is a slight difference between these two, but again, not a big difference. This one is having again a big battery. That's a 6500 milliamp hour battery, and paired with this 100-watt charger, you don't have to worry about the same. Whereas it's slightly bigger on this one, 6580 milliamp hour battery. But in terms of battery life, I would say both of them should be easily last you for about 1.5 to almost about 2 odd days. So battery life is not an issue. The 7S Gen 4 processor is also actually pretty efficient, and in fact Xiaomi has also added a new thing on this one. Of course, the regular Pro also has a vapor chamber, but this Pro Plus actually has ice cool technology, which Xiaomi claims is almost about 3x times more effective than a regular vapor chamber. And yes, I can say that in regular usage, day-to-day usage, etc., this handset hardly felt warm to touch. So that way they have done a good job. And again, it's a typical Xiaomi phone that you are getting on this one. So if you're familiar with Xiaomi UI, it's the same thing that you are getting. Another thing that I noticed on this one is that if I go to the settings and if I go to about the phone, out of the box, this is coming with Android version 15. They should have given Android 16, but the thing is that they are promising next 4 Android major upgrades and next 4 years of security updates. So that is regarding the same. Also, if you even go, this is the base variant. This is the review unit that the Xiaomi has sent, and this is the base variant. In fact, if I go to the base variant on the Pro Plus, as I've told you, starts with 256 gigabytes, whereas on the regular Pro, it starts at 128 gigabytes. And this has 8 gigabytes of RAM. And if I go to detail info and specs, we do also get that RAM boost. Right now, it's by default switched on, so 8 plus 4 gigabytes. But I feel they should have gone with UFS 3.1 storage, in my frank opinion. So that's what it is regarding the hardware. In hand feel, I would say it's decent. It's again a big phone. I would say 6.8, but the weight balance has been done well. And in fact, if you look at the back, I think that this is the big highlight of this device. It's that 200 megapixel main camera that comes with OIS, and they have actually worked on the camera, I feel. And if you look at it from the back, this actually looks like a quad camera setup, but no, that's not the case. It's actually a dual camera setup. The main is at that 200 megapixel, and the second camera is a 8 megapixel ultra wide on there. So again, this is the flash and this is nothing. But let's now quickly let me actually show you the camera interface to get an idea. And I think so I did take some samples in the zoom also, though it doesn't have that telephoto, that whatever 3x or 5x zoom or whatever, but because it's having that main 200 megapixel sensor, I could digitally zoom also and get actually pretty good shots. I'll show you some samples, but let me quickly just show you the interface first. So this is the basic interface that you're getting, and you get this 1x. Of course, we have that ultra wide, that is 0.6. 1x, you can directly jump to 2x and 4x from here. And I noticed that digital zooming up to 10x also, you can get actually pretty decent shot. Digital zooming up to 30x maximum is supported, but I would say restricted up to 10x, and those shots are usable. Definitely up to 4x are very, very usable, and they have worked a lot on that sensor. That's why it's actually good. Coming to video, with the rear facing camera, maximum is that 4K 30f supported. And the good thing is that the sensor on that 200 megapixel camera is very good. If you notice here also, you're getting that natural background blur also, so that sensor is good. But when we move to the front facing camera, the maximum video recording is 1080p up to 60 fps. Here 4K option is not there. So that's regarding the camera overview. But let me actually now show you the samples they have taken with this Pro Plus variant. Let's start with some outdoor shot. This was regular 1x and this was ultra wide. This was again 1x and this was ultra wide. This was 1x shot, and here I used the 4x zoom, and 4x also gets good shot. And also in terms of color accuracy, it was good. We also get that good natural background blur easily with this smartphone. These pics were taken in a restaurant and the lighting was pretty dull. This was that 1x and this was at 4x zoom. One more example, this was 1x zoom, this was 4x zoom, and this was actually 10x digital zoom. In terms of color accuracy, also like the color accuracy on this one, the photographs look actually pretty natural. Now these pictures were taken in my office in very dull lighting conditions, but here also the camera actually performed very well in my opinion. These were taken just after the sunset, and notice how dull the lighting is, and just notice the area around the arrow, and I took this picture around that, and as you can see, it brightened it up quite a bit. This picture was taken in a mall regular mode, and this is the portrait mode. By default it goes 2x, but you can also drop it down to 1x. Now moving to the 32 megapixel front facing camera, these pictures were taken in the normal regular mode and they come out decent, I would say. And these were taken in the portrait bokeh mode with the front facing camera. Now I'm recording this video with the rear facing camera, and this is set to 4K 30 FPS, and I'm just going to climb some stairs to give you an idea how is the stabilization. The rear camera has optical image stabilization, and I'm walking on this grass, and there are some stairs also. I'll climb down so that you can get an idea. In fact, these stairs are a little bit steep, but I'll just walk down, and I'm walking down. And at least in the preview, looks like the OIS is actually doing a very good job. I was not expecting that. To give you an idea, these are the stairs that we just climbed. So this is a very quick sample recorded with the rear facing camera. One thing to note is that if you're shooting in 4K, within the video you can't switch to ultra wide, but this is a quick sample recorded at 4K at 30 fps. Recording this video with the front facing camera, and I'm just walking around to give you an idea how's the video recording. It's set to 1080p, that is at 30 fps, though 60 fps is also supported. And guys, I'm against the light, the sun is at the back. I like that. Then also my face is sort of lit, it's not dark, so that way it's actually doing a good job. Let's just go here, and now this is sort of the ideal lighting. The sun is coming from there, it's lighting up my face. So this is a quick video recording sample with the front facing camera, and of course the audio is also being recorded via its internal microphone. So guys, this is the Redmi Note 15 Pro Plus variant and the Pro Plus. What do you guys feel about the same? As I've told you at the time of making this video, I don't have the pricing info of these smartphones, so I can't comment on the same, but I'll add the pricing information and all those things, where it's on sale, any offers, etc., in the description, so that you can check it out. Definitely I would say these are mid-range smartphones. I would say premium mid-range smartphones, and the biggest highlight for me is the rear facing camera. That's the 200 megapixel camera. So if you always wanted a mid-range smartphone but with a good rear facing camera, I feel this stands out from the crowd. And also I feel on the Pro Plus they have added some extra features like eSIM functionality on the same, and I like that. In terms of glass protection, both of them are actually getting the Gorilla Glass Victus 2. So what do you feel about both these smartphones, and which one do you feel is better, the regular Pro or the Pro Plus? Do let me know in the comment section below. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.